Hello and welcome to Maximal Fire, the podcast for Princeps. I'm Alex.
And I'm George.
And this probably sounds a little bit different to what you're used to. So, it's obviously been a couple of months since our last episodes, and if you've been following our socials, there's been quite a lot of change. We've decided that we're going to take this podcast into the realms of video. And not only that, in the future, not today sadly, we are also going to be streaming. So that means live interactions with us, and hopefully if you're listening to us live, you can send us some questions, you can comment on the things that we're saying, and we might be able to actually reply to you in real time. So a little bit of a change, and you'll also notice, well actually you probably wouldn't notice, because you've never really seen me or Ben before, and if you're watching on the video podcast version of this may be the first time that you've seen my face. It could also be the first time, well, it most definitely will be the first time that you've seen this face. This is George. This is the George. We've, over the last year, me and Ben mentioned George on many occasions, and here he is live in the flesh.
Thank you for having me.
So, again, if you have been following our socials, it's a fairly obvious thing is that George is not Ben. Ben at the end of last year decided that he needed to take a break from the hobby, and as such has unfortunately made the decision that he's going to leave the podcast. So it's big regret that we won't have Ben here. Believe me, he still gets sent a ton of questions from us when new stuff comes out or questions need to be raised, and we've made it clear to Ben that should he ever want to come back again, the door is always open. So I think from myself and on behalf of the Maximal Fire community, I'd just like to say a big thank you very much to Ben for all of the time and effort that he's put in to the show over the last year and to the tournaments that he ran. He will be missed. So in the meantime, that means that we're going to have on quite a few little guests here and there. No offence about a little, George.
Oh, no. Guest number one.
Guest number one. George has come on the show today to talk with me about Legio Audax. Now, this show is actually the second part of the, I guess, live event that we've been doing. So, although this week, because of the big storms in the UK, it kind of scuppered our plans of actually doing a live stream. We just didn't really want to run the risk that we might lose power or we might lose the internet. So we decided to pre-record all this. This will hopefully give you a little bit of an idea of what the live format is going to look like, and probably what it's going to sound like as well. But we did a battle report, which I got completely and utterly crushed. And if you are interested in battle reports, do check it out. Let us know what you think. It's done in a kind of live format, so it's quite different from the stuff which is out there otherwise. But we do hope that you enjoy it. And if you've got any questions or any feedback, do not hesitate to let us know. But be kind. It's the first one that we've done. So yeah, today's episode is going to largely focus on Legio Audax. But we also ran a tournament last week, which was quite successful, so there may be a few little bits and pieces about that. Of course, as we say always, if you are listening to us on any of the traditional podcast streams, systems I should say, if you can leave us a review, if you can like us, if you can subscribe if possible, then all of that helps us to get the Maximal Fire name out there. And now we're going to be on YouTube as well. So although this is a video podcast when we're recording it, we're going to be dumping the audio back into the usual formats, so you should still be able to hear us everywhere else that you're used to hearing us so far. So first off, it's been a couple of months. We've got a few patron shout outs that we need to do. There was a couple of guys who missed out literally by like a day on the recording last time, so they're well overdue their patron shout outs. But I want to say a big thank you to Brandon Ridge, Robert Murray, Rob Miller, Aaron Dembski-Bowden, Grant Dearness and Noah Atkins. Without your support, the video podcast, the battle reports, all these things that we've been kind of promising over the last year wouldn't be possible. And this is kind of like the culmination of everything that the community has done to support Maximal Fire up until now. So huge thank you. Whew. A lot of talking already.
A lot of talking there.
And we've already talked for like 2.5 hours tonight.
We have, yeah.
It's I don't know about you, I've got a bit of dry mouth. Hopefully it'll keep me going into the small hours. Yeah. So I think we just need to do a couple of shout outs to our sponsors.
Yep.
Battle Bling, been with us since the start, of course. So there is going to be, they've already started dropping some of their new close combat weapons.
Yes, the hammers and the maces.
The hammers and the maces. I think there's a few more things coming, I want to say. I think Danny...
How many did he do?
He did
There's a lot.
Yeah, he did a lot. And I think they've only released 4 at the moment.
Yeah, chain axe as well.
Yes. I especially like the Dream Smasher.
That's it. The names are great.
Yeah. But they should already be mostly out. I think there's going to be a few more of those coming in the near future. And if you have watched the battle report that we did, you may have caught a sneaky peek. And also, actually, if you saw any of the photos from the tournament, last week, some of the new Battle Bling terrain, which is coming out.
Exciting stuff.
Yes.
It's all STLs rather than physical.
That's correct. It's going
big pieces.
Yeah.
Big.
All modular. They're doing buildings, which are modular. Kind of they remind, I think it's probably intentional actually, but it reminds me of do you remember the cardboard cutouts? Did you in Space Marine?
Yeah.
That they used to do. I think that might be the aesthetic that they've kind of gone for. With
certainly fits in.
Yeah. It looks really, really nice. And I don't know if they've named it yet, but the definitely not a capital Imperialis. We had the prototype with us this week for the battle report. We also had some of their ridiculously humongous actual 2-scale
cooling
towers. Yes. Those things are magnificent, but you always need at least one piece of terrain to block a warlord on a table, generally speaking. Probably block 2 or 3.
Yeah, Warmaster.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
Probably 2 Warmasters stood on each other's shoulders. Yeah, it's a huge piece, but they'll all be available for STLs. I want to say in March, I believe, is when they're.
So get buying resin.
Yeah. That thing in particular it's a fair chunk of resin. I think.
The Capitol Imperialis. I mean, John sculpted it so that it can have stuff put inside. So you can deploy your tank.
Yes. I think he
company.
Said, did he say it could have like 9 Spartan tanks inside of it, and it's got like the full. It's going to have the prototype version that we had didn't have that, so we couldn't show any of that off. But it's got a fully sculpted interior and stuff.
Yeah, the aircraft lift, so you can have a Aeronautica Imperialis plane in there. Yeah, that can be deployed. Well, you can put it on top.
Yeah, and it fits a little Reaver weapon in the front. It's very cool.
Very nice.
Yes, and that I believe that's also going to be via STL. So yeah, get your resin orders in, and also they have told us that I think like everywhere in the world at the moment, the prices of everything is going up. There is going to be a price rise at Battle Bling. I believe that's going to be in March.
Did Johnny say that was just for items from 2021?
I believe so. Yeah, it's not across the range. I think it's largely there's. Certainly the 2021 stuff that they released, and I think they're trying to keep as much of it as cheap as possible still. Yeah. But if you do need to get any Battle Bling stuff, now's the time to do it. You've still got like maybe a handful of weeks perhaps before that price rise comes into effect, so you can still take advantage of the old prices. Our other main sponsor, Grimdark Terrain. Bronco Fish has still been smashing out so much stuff.
Still surprising.
Yeah. The thing that's actually got me quite excited, and I'm wondering if we should maybe put it into like some of the future battle reports, is have you seen the Hex map campaign map that he's done? Yeah. That's very, very cool.
Kind of Mighty Empires style.
Yes. Yeah. I think, I was kicking myself. I used to have one of those Mighty Empire, the 40k version of it, and I think it got chucked in a house move, and now it's worth
it's your retirement fund gone
quite a bit. Yeah, disappeared one day. But like, I'm looking forward to getting my printer up and running again and printing one of those out and getting that going. And he started doing more Titan. Well, he's actually released some Titans as well.
Yes, those. That's what I'm looking at.
The Hermes.
The little non-combatant civilian style.
Yeah, the Salvage Titans.
Salvage Titans. Cranes and lifter arms.
Yeah, they do look very, very cool. I've seen a couple of those painted on Instagram already. I think Andy, who's one of the guys up in the Tyneside Gaming Club, he's already painted, I think, 3 of those. Yeah. Seen those on the Discord and on Instagram. It looks really, really cool.
Gotta go industrial yellow. That's the colour.
Of course, you need industrial yellow. Get some hazard stripes on there as well. I think you're probably...
Yeah, it's 2 metre high hazard stripes. I don't know how big they'd be in scale. But.
Yeah, big. But yeah, it's really nice to see that. And I guess the other piece of news from Grimdark is that he's moved over and has actually given us a couple of... he's given us an upgrade kit.
Yes, so that's a conversion kit, not a whole new model.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So he's kind of branching out a little bit from the terrain side of stuff, and it's nice to see Bronco kind of like delivering the sort of quality you can do on the terrain to models that we can stick on the table. Yeah. And that is the Galisades.
What does that mean?
Yeah, well, I have it I have it from himself that it's kind of a bastardized Latin version of the word murder chicken.
Yep. Yep.
I didn't study Latin, so by all means school me if that's incorrect. But that's what I have it on good faith. That's what it is. But that's quite nice because I think the Direwolf we touched upon it in the battle report earlier on today. But it's had a bit of a mixed reaction.
Yeah, I mean some of the Titans in the past. I think when the War Master first came out, a lot of people were a bit iffy about it when they first saw it. So who knows, when you get different angles, different positions on the legs, I'm going to hold out myself.
Yeah.
But I can see like where Bronco has changed things for his own version. I like those improvements, those changes.
It's kept some of the aesthetic of the Warhound, but while it's still very much got the kind of Direwolf sort of look to it. But I do wonder if it was a plastic kit, would people like it more? Because it's obviously coming out, it looks like it's going to be a full resin piece. Yeah. It's probably going to be quite expensive.
We're talking 50, 60?
I had a dream the other night and I dreamt that it was £52.
Okay.
Very specific. Mm-hmm. We'll see how close to the mark I am.
Well, we know GW listen, so...
Yeah. Less than £52, please. That'd be great and I'll buy loads. Yeah. But yeah, it's he's done a really good job on that, and you just need the plastic Warhounds, and then you get the upgrade kit for the top as well. Yeah,
I do like the arms, the gun, Vulcan arms. They come out nicely. Yeah, the head is good, and the feet.
Yeah, he's done a super job on that. Feet. I think I'll be buying like an official one, probably for my Audax actually. For if you're watching on the video, like I've got my Audax out in front of me, but I've wanted one for my Tempestus as well, and depending on the price. Maybe that will be the cost-effective way of having multiple Direwolves.
Always good to have variety.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, really looking forward to those. That's available, I think, as a separate. It's not in the monthly package. I think that's a separate STL download.
But very soon.
Yes, I think I want to say it's already out. Like there was pictures on Facebook about it earlier on today. But yeah, that looks super cool. And as part of the salvage kit in February, I believe it's out yet, but he was doing the crashed Samson.
Yep.
So we've got a couple of Samsons already, haven't we? So that might be quite a nice addition to one of our airport boards.
Yeah, because I've got one board that is nice, clean, everything's still in working order, and then I have a ruined board where everything's ruined. So now I could have a Samson for each.
Yeah. We're kind of, we've got quite a few boards between us now.
Yeah. Well, we need them.
Yeah.
Definitely need them.
How many, we had, just to go back quickly onto Beachhead, it was 13 tables, I think. I think we put out 14 tables, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, originally we were aiming for 32 people, so we would have needed 16, but...
Which we had enough. We had enough.
We did,
but we went. I think we went down to. We only had the one table of the drop zone terrain. Yeah. And the rest of it was our own. I think it was like 6 or 7
with
tables
a couple of
us, wasn't it?
People helping out. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was great. It was great to see. There was loads of Grimdark there as well. Loads of Grimdark boards. I think we had 3 or 4.
3 or 4 at least.
Grimdark boards. I think, including a massive cathedral. that
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Alex
The
had done.
Princess Palace. Yes.
Yeah. yeah, like a grimdark version of the Disney castle.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, have a look at the stuff that's coming out from Grimdark as well. It's certainly looking good. We've also started talking with our friends here at Entoyment in Poole, Entoyment Wargaming and Hobby Centre. These are the guys who ran the Beachheads convention. It was a fantastic do. We just want to say a big thank you to Pete and the crew for putting on such an amazing event. There was loads of tournaments, loads of traders. It was just super fun. It was a great weekend. My God, I've never hurt so much in my entire life after 2 days back to back of running an AT tournament, but it was super good fun.
And Entoyment are where all of our previous tournaments have been held as well.
These are the guys where we generally hold our games nights. And
good sized shop, good sized gaming hall.
Yeah, and loads of stock. Especially if you're into historical stuff. So like if you beyond the Games Workshop stuff, give Entoyment a look up. Tons of stuff for Warlord if you like your bolt action, or if you like your I forget the name of is it black powder?
Yeah.
The Napoleonic era stuff.
So many different games.
Yeah. Or your Flames of War and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, do check them out. We've kind of touched upon our event, but just a bit of community news. This is still it seems now that we're out of lockdown, we've got loads of events starting up. It's great to see the community kind of getting out and playing games again. And I just wanted to give a shout out. There's 4 events which are coming up in the next the next couple of months. We do have a tendency of we're only really told about the ones in the UK, but we actually have one not in the UK to talk about today, so that's super cool. But the next one is the STT Adepts Titanicus Engine Kill event. That's on March 13 in South Shields. There's still a few tickets left for those ones, so if you are in South Shields looking for one, have a look for that event. I'll try and put the description for some of these in the description for the podcast afterwards. That's a red v blue, loyalists versus traitors, similar to what we did at Beachhead, which was added another kind of quite fun narrative to the whole week.
Something different.
Yeah, and then after that, there's the Battle for Talon Phase 1. That's on March 27th. That's in Battlegrounds in Midlothian in Virginia. So this is our first US tournament that we've had, we've been able to talk about. So yeah, if you're in Midlothian, I hope I pronounced that right. It sounds right in my head. Go check those out. Then on April the 30th, there is the Destruction of Zeroth Prime in Peterborough. That's another red v blue. They've still got tickets left. So if you're kind of up in is Peterborough Midlands technically?
It's up north.
It's all up north from Bournemouth, isn't it? So yeah, then do check them out. And it would be remiss of us to not mention our friends at Goonhammer. They have the Goonhammer Open, which is the last weekend in May. Currently, Adeptus Titanicus is sold out for that. However, I believe they are operating a watch list if you are a wait list. Sorry, not a watch list, a wait list. If you do want to take part, but I do have it under good advisement that there are still 40k tickets available. It sounds like it's going to be quite a big event, and that's in Nottingham. So yeah, that's everything that we're aware of at the moment. If you do have an event which is coming up, you want it advertised, do let us know. I mean, likewise, I don't know what I'm talking about. If, as well as that, if you would like to run an event, maybe you don't know where to start off, hit us up. You know, we're more than willing to give out our tournament packs to other members of the community. It's already been reused, recycled by multiple different events around the UK and further afield. And yeah, we do with that what you want. It's we just offer it up to people if they want a kind of springboard as to where they can start off from. So don't be afraid to kind of reach out. I'm more than happy to help. Yeah. So yes, I can catch a breath now. So how did you feel about the battle report?
Yeah, my first time on camera, my first time recording in that way. I don't really watch battle reports on YouTube, heresy, but felt good. I mean,
well, of course it felt good. You won.
Yeah, That was nice. That was nice. Game itself, well, we didn't need to make any real changes to a battle report. Just talking about what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah.
Always fun to play Audax. They're all over the place, running around, claws.
Yeah.
Lots of little targets. Incredibly frustrating at times.
Well, yeah. When you try playing with them,
But then everything starts clicking. They start falling apart. They're Warhounds. So
I've had. I think when I talk about my Gryphonicus list, I think I'm on like a 80% win rate with them. Like, because you can do quite a lot with them. Like, I know how to get the most out of them. I find Audax are one of those forces which are a little bit more swingy. Mm-hmm. You really have to try and maximise. What I didn't do very well in the game that we played before was probably make the most out of cover. I think I probably left a few things in close out in the open, and I made a few mistakes. I mean, it was the first battle report we've ever done as well, so I'm sure we made mistakes when we were doing it, but it was still
I can think of a few.
Yeah, one or two. Like a few backpedaling here and there as we've forgotten rules or realised that we'd forgotten about stuff. But hopefully...
Definitely leave a comment. We want to hear that.
Yeah, just slag us off as much as you want. That's fine. I don't think we need to be reminded of how many mistakes we made, because I think we know quite how many mistakes we made.
Yeah, I mean, I was using Gryphs. I'm not entirely confident with them. I've used them a handful of times before. Yeah. So that was cool too.
Yeah. It's nice to get them out on the table. I've probably, I think my Audax have come out on the table about probably about 6 or 7 times, and I'm probably more on 50-50 with them. Right. Like it's, you were playing a Ferox, so that was quite a challenge. Like they don't like combat so much, or if they do like combat, they like it against people who don't like combat. Yeah. It's nice to kind of nuzzle some Warhounds up against some larger Titans if they like a nice static gun line or something. But it was a really good fun game to play. It's always good when you see Titans exploding and Warhounds do a good job of blowing up here and there. So it always makes for an exciting game. I think we had a couple of mag deaths. Did we have
one meltdown?
Yeah,
that was good. Yeah, right when you didn't need it to
right
melt down, of course.
Oh yeah, and it just absolutely.
Funny, I don't think anything got taken out until nearly the end of turn 2, maybe turn 3 even. Yeah,
there was a few
very cagey.
Chipping away a little bit, but it was I think it was turn 3 that it went from being I could still probably win this to suddenly nothing was left on the board, and I was in a lot of trouble. Losing the Acastus quite early as well was
Well, if you're going to take an Acastus,
it's a bit
I have no sympathy.
It had to die, to be honest. It would have been rude to let it sit around for a bit longer than that. So.
Yeah, I think the thing with Audax is that they are going to get in amongst you, so you've got to build. I built a list that could cover each other, so the Reaver that you're stood in front of isn't going to be able to hurt you, but the guy behind him is going to be able to hurt. So I was covering my flanks, covering overlapping fields of fire, I think it's called. Yeah. So it all paid off because you charged into the middle of me. Yeah.
Well, this segues in quite nicely. I think we used to do our battle report, our deep dives in the second half of the show. But this podcast out, we want to do we want to talk a bit more about Beachhead. So we're going to segue in from the battle report, and we're going to do the Legio deep dive straight up. Let's get to the meat of it right now. So I have my book in front of me, and if you're watching on video, this will be probably. If only I had kind of like some end of the nose glasses or something, and I could read to you in a sultry bedtime kind of voice, and it would be enough to send you to sleep. But
do some ASMR,
yeah. Let's talk about the Legio Audax rules. So the Ember Wolves, they're called. They're quite unique in Titanicus. They only have access to 2 mana pools, the Lupercal and the Canis, and this is because they are a Legio which can only take Warhounds, or to be more precise, anything of scale 7 or lower. So they're like the light Scout Titans. I'm interested to see whether Direwolf fits into that. Mm-hmm. If that'll be a scale 7, or will it be another scale 6, or
Will it have maniples?
Will it have maniples? Will it be an auxiliary titan? Will it have some kind of ambush? I mean, they said in the fluff it was like an ambush predator. Like, will it have some sort of
that big gun on the top, that could hurt. Yeah, that'd be nice. Special deployment.
Like some sort of pop-up ability, like similar to, I know, like an outflank or something, which is special for the titan. I don't know. Who knows? Like, there's so much that could.
There's going to be an article on this in 2 days' time. You know it.
Oh, you know, it'll be completely
before the
out
podcast
of date.
comes out.
Completely out of date by the time that we get it out. But I just hope it comes with a book. Like,
that'd be nice.
I think it needs a book.
When was the last book? Traitors. Before Christmas? I can't remember.
That was, I want to say, it was just before Reactor Meltdown, wasn't it? So that would have been beginning of November.
Right. Yeah.
So beginning of November, I think it was about 6 months or so between the last one. Maybe we might see another book in March.
I mean, COVID delays, who knows, going on precedent.
Yeah. Well, it's not just like a weapon where they can stick a weapon card in. I suppose they could give you a Titan Terminal like they do with the Psi Titan, but it would be nice
the Mechanicus Knights and stuff.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have something more to kind of go with it.
Would you want a specific campaign book like Talon or something like that, like Defense Advisor, Shadow and Iron?
Yeah.
Or would you want Night Households and Black Shields? You know?
Yeah, it's a tricky one because they've obviously republished all the Night rules, haven't they?
So most of them.
Most of them have.
They're still spread out.
Republished. But what they haven't done is they haven't republished the Night Stratagems.
Yeah.
There's still questions around them and the legality of them.
And then their banners and their High Kings and their Seneschals, they're still spread out.
Yeah, I think most of the rules for that is still in Moloch, isn't it?
I think so. Well, one of them.
Yeah. Either way, it's like certainly the stratagems are in Moloch, and that was like the third book which was released. It was after Titan Death. Mm-hmm. So after the main rule book, the second supplement, I think it was. There's. I'd like to see some campaign stuff. I'd like them to maybe have a look at custom legios again. Just see if there's a bit more that they can do to balance them.
It's been a while since they were done as well.
Yeah, that was Defense Surpriser.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
I'm looking at them a lot at the moment because I'm trying to work out what to do for my next secret project.
Okay.
Whether I go custom Legio or something else.
Something else.
An existing Legio with corruption rules, perhaps.
Okay, you keep your secrets. And we'll see that when that comes out. Anyway, let's get into the rules for Legio Audax. So they, like all of them, they have a list of they have war gear and they have traits. They don't have any stratagems, and one of their Legio specific war gears is it's not really a war gear. It's just
the weapon.
It's just the weapon, which anybody can buy. It's just slightly better. So their first Legio trait is Wolves Among Prey. So unlike nearly all of the Titan legions, the Legio Audax relied solely on Scout class Titans in warfare, preferring to encircle their prey and slowly tear them apart. A Legio Audax maniple can consist only of Titans of scale 6 or lower. Any maniple which has a secondary or has any mandatory or optional components containing Titans of scale 7 or higher cannot contain Legio Audax Titans. Any reinforcement Titans declared as Legio Audax must be of scale 6 or lower. All Legio Audax Titans gain the squadron special rule. If they do not already have it, and they may always form squadrons with other Legio Audax Titans of any type. This includes Titans that belong to other Legio Audax maniples or Legio Audax reinforcement Titans. Legio Audax squadrons can contain up to 5 Titans, unless they can normally contain more. If a Legio Audax Titan is part of a squadron via this trait, they cannot become part of another squadron for any reason during the battle. The only exception to this rule is if every other Titan within their squadron has been destroyed. In this instance, additional squadrons can be formed if a rule allows it. So I've kind of answered myself there. I think when I was looking at this earlier on, I saw scale 7 and I forgot that it's scale 6. So the Direwolf has to be at least scale 6.
Ideally, yeah.
So maybe that's where it comes into like the reinforcement Titans.
Yeah. Just something I just noticed there. Does that say you can form squadrons between maniples?
Yes.
That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, but they can't be part of another one. So if you had, like I did in the battle report, the Lupercal and the Canis, I could have had one from the Lupercal, one for the Canis. But I
you wouldn't be able to
couldn't
then change it.
I couldn't then move it into the Lupercal. But it's an interesting. I've never had a use for that, but I don't. Maybe I'm not thinking about it in the terms which. Maybe there's a play there that I'm missing.
I mean, you can't have feroxes. You can't have ones that give bonuses that would stack with coordinated fire. The main one I could think of would be having a squadron where somewhere at the back there's a Lupercal, and some are setting further forward in the battlefield with the Carnis infiltration rule. So you've got a squadron that's supporting each other.
But this is also reinforcement titans though as well. So if the Direwolf is a reinforcement titan, you could form a squadron.
Yep.
With somebody out of the maniple, which is obviously
true.
Something a bit different.
So if they, for some reason, don't make any Direwolf maniples, they could still get involved with the other titans.
Because
like that.
auxiliary titans is that one per maniple you can take?
I think so.
Or is it one per battle force now?
Need to double check that.
That.
It would be in the traitor book.
Yeah, probably would.
I believe it's maniple.
If you can take more than one Direwolf, 2 with the neutron lasers. It's already strength 6 with bypass and shock. Combined fire, strength 7.
Yeah, coordinated fire, nice.
Yeah, that's you're going to be shutting down titans at that point. Like I think, like we said in the battle report, like I took the Acastus because I think that the Audax need a bit of a boost when it comes to hitting the heavier titans, because especially the Ursus Claws, they're not as effective against warlords. They're apart from moving them around, it's quite difficult to cause damage. Unless you're combining fire.
And even then, you'd need to roll 5, 6s. You need lots of titans working together to bring down a warlord. Yeah, which is appropriate with the background.
Yeah, but I've had quite a bit of luck with the Natrix Shot Lance in Audax. Yeah, I've used that a few times, and just for that one time that it shuts down the titan, it's kind of worth taking them. But then couple that in with the neutron laser. Is that right?
I think so. Or neutrino.
The laser thing that's coming on there.
Science laser.
Yeah, the big beamy thing. It's obviously strength 6. That's more likely to actually cause that direct point of damage. And then you're going to
That's all you need.
Yeah, if you can get it in the side or a flank, or in the flank or in the rear, and get a bit more damage. Coupled with a combined, a coordinated strike. Combined fire, whatever it's called.
Buy some rerolls, Profane Blessing, or the Traitor upgrade that gives you a reroll.
Yeah, that could be the thing which retires the Acastus from my list.
Well, I certainly hope so.
We'll have to see. But yeah, it is a limiting factor, isn't it? But it's what makes Audax what they are.
It's what you sign up for. If you want Audax, it's Warhounds and small things.
Yeah, and you can do a lot of fun stuff with them. They just die very easily. So the next trait is Stalk Unseen. So the Titans of Legio Audax are adept at stalking their prey, utilising the lay of the land to launch murderous ambushes. For the duration of the first round, attacks made against this Legio Audax Titans of scale 6 or lower suffer a -2 to the hit roll if the Titan is at least 25% obscured, rather than the usual -1. I didn't make a great use of that in the kind of showcase battle report that we did, but it's pretty powerful. Like, I obviously combined it with the immaterial shields, corruption. And that means if I was in 25% cover, -3 to hit is the first turn. You can just weather that storm a little bit, which means I guess you don't have to rely so much on the normal fire mitigation things like concealment barrage or blind barrage.
Yeah, you play the terrain right, that shut them down on turn 1. Yeah. Maybe even part of turn 2, or with a certain princess upgrade.
Yeah.
Princeps.
Yeah. Certain princess upgrades.
Yeah, princess upgrades,
No, I like it as a rule. I think it's quite good. It does give you that little bit of extra survivability, but you do really need to hug the cover. Yeah.
I think in the battle we played, I didn't shoot a huge amount in the first turn, and when I did, it was when I had a clear line of sight. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was being quite clever with my preternatural grace, my full striding. I think in hindsight, because of the amount of distance that I covered on the first, I don't think I realised how far I was going to go. And I think I wasted a round of shooting for those 2 full striding Warhounds, but...
Yeah, they were out of it.
Yeah, like I should have really maximised on them, maybe kept them held in a bit of cover, whereas they ended up out in the open, but... Yeah, it's a nice rule. It definitely gives them a bit of survivability when it comes to weathering a first round barrage.
On Warhounds, I think it's a really nice rule. If another Legio had that on Warlords and Reavers, I think that would be far too powerful.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
At least very good.
Yeah. But the next piece is really what I think is the best part of Audax, and that's the war gear option. So they have reinforced plating. The Titans of the Legio Audax are equipped with additional armour plates to somewhat offset the relative lack of armour most Scout Titans possess. A Legio Audax Titan of scale 6 or lower can be fitted with reinforced plating for plus 15 points. Subtract 1 from the result of armour rolls made against a Titan with reinforced plating. That's an auto take for me.
Great price. Great that it affects everything. Legs, body, head, weapons. Weapons?
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, it would. Yeah, still an armour roll.
Again, if it was on bigger Titans. But no, for Warhounds, I think it's really nicely priced. In our game today, I had Ferox, so I got +1 within certain ranges, +1 to armour. That was gone because of the armour plating.
Yeah.
So I was playing on a level playing field. If I hadn't taken Ferox, struggling.
I must admit, when I was building my list, I did consider taking, is it Chitinous Carapace?
Yeah.
Which is the -2 to the body.
That's it.
But I did think, it's like, well, that might force people to just do targeted shots against my legs or something instead. But I wonder now, maybe that might have been a better use of my points. Because I took a lot of body hits in that game as well.
Yeah.
But a -3 to the armour on the body protects that reactor a little bit.
Takes a lot of weapons off the table, like bolters stop being any use.
Yeah.
I had Inferno guns. Even Gatling blasters aren't going to be doing that much.
Yeah, I mean, just fishing for kind of like those body hits and things, it's going to make that a lot harder. But yeah, would you just have targeted different locations?
Sure.
The legs are they're just as weak, aren't they?
They come up twice on the dice, don't they?
Yeah.
Legs, so
yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah. Do you go for the positioning? Do you go for the potential weathering? I mean, you wouldn't have to worry about overloading your reactor quite so much, because if you're taking a strength 9 hit to the body, because you're in the orange.
Yep. Oh yeah, that gets reduced too. Yeah.
Well, that would be a -3 on that dice roll, wouldn't it? So that's
quite often I'll target the body if I'm going combat weapons, because then I can get the VSG burnout or reactor leak on a Warhound is pretty deadly. So I'm robbed of that.
Yeah,
option.
I might have to try that in the next time I take these out, just to see, because I think now I the way I looked at it when I built the force, I was just thinking purely from it's
show it off.
It's a lot of points for one location, but actually when you factor in the reactor heat, which is often what can kill Warhounds.
Yeah. I wouldn't take it on all 6, obviously, but maybe on the seniors.
Yeah, just a bit more weathering, or even on the forward deployed guys, who are more likely to get
take the hits
from the start. On the Canis. Yeah.
How would you? I know you haven't made any particular conversions for armor, but have you seen any that really stood out to you?
You know what? I haven't seen an awful lot. I kind of gave one of my guys a bit of a kind of knobbly, bony head.
Yeah, like the 40k scale Chaos Titan.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think, just looking at the models which I've got sat in front of me now, I think with the chitinous carapace, you could possibly get a bit of modelling opportunity out of like the beetleback conversions that Battle Bling do, or something like that. Like you could make it look like a Beatles chitin kind of back, I suppose. That might look pretty cool. But of course, I painted and made all of these before Corruptions came out, so I've not really had opportunity to do it again.
What about just reinforced plate? I've seen a few people use like Reaver shoulder pads and things like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a difficult one because it quite often just looks like a Reaver shoulder pad.
Yeah,
it's got quite a signature look.
I mean this is obviously like new today, but like seeing Bronco's Direwolf upgrade,
Yep.
Because it's an STL.
Yep.
That's got a shoulder pad on it as well, like a Direwolf style shoulder pad. Something like that might work quite nicely as a.
That's true. I mean, just the GW Direwolf has got that Warhound look to the body, but it is multi-layered armour, so something like that.
Yeah, just something to set it out, I guess, if you wanted to model it, because that would fit on a normal Warhound as well. Like, just give it some shoulder pads or something, just make it look a bit more.
Up armour the exhausts.
Yeah. Loads. I mean, I was fairly boring when I put these guys. I think I put more effort into the bases than I did into the modelling. The rest of them.
They look great.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, reinforced playing is really good. I'm always a bit shocked when I play against Audax people and they don't take it, because I think this is really what you need to make them survivable, especially in the 1750s when you're coming across the warlords, even the reavers. You know, they can cause a big. It's a big difference, like you said. My Titans would have died long before if they hadn't have had that.
We had a few cases where I was getting the Ferox bonus and it was going into crits, and then we remembered the armour and it was going back down again.
Eventually remembered the armour, yeah.
So it's saving that critical threshold.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely, yeah. And then the last piece of war gear, which isn't really war gear, is Ursus Claws. So the Legio Audax fought many battles against the World Eaters Legion and adopted the use of Ursus Claws, oversized harpoons capable of toppling larger titans and rendering them helpless. An Ursus Claw fitted to a Legio Audax Titan has a strength value of 4 instead of 3. Great. I mean, if you want to run Ursus Claws, take Audax. They're definitely better than they were previously. In fact, this was the first game that I played with these guys where I've not hurt myself.
Yeah.
From my own attacks.
You still fired them 5-6 times? Or
yeah, no, and I think they were fairly successful. I mean, I turned at least 3 or 4, three times.
3 or 4, yeah.
I killed the Warhounds with it from 2 successful attacks. I think that kind of took about
legs got
7 or 8 devastating hits to the legs. Yeah. And I moved a couple of other guys about. Like since they updated the rules, they're definitely more useful, but they're still quite swingy.
I wouldn't consider taking Ursus Claws on another Legio unless it was a narrative game or if I had some kind of crazy plan.
Yeah. They I mean, against other warlords, Warhounds, they're great because you only need even on a normal
2+,
one, you only need a 3+.
Yeah.
It'd be a 4+ to cause damage, wouldn't it? Because it's got to be over the scale.
A normal one,
yeah. But on these guys, it's a 3+. So yeah, definitely better. I take them because it's Audax. It's what they do, but don't expect them to be overly competitive, I guess.
Have you ever considered running Double Claw? Does that stack?
Oh, that to me just seems like an opportunity for somebody with a Vulcan Mega Bolter to just blow your specialised weapons off, which cannot be repaired. Yeah. And all you've got there then is a
smash attack on legs.
Just a Warhound running around completely armless, just headbutting things every now and again. I don't know. I think if Audax had the opportunity for them not to be specialised under Audax, to again, it might have made it a bit better, but like specialised weapons are always a bit of a risk.
They've got a repair roll on the card.
Yeah, it's like why did they even bother doing that? Because you've got a repair roll, but you can't repair it because it's specialised.
You've got a whole special word just to say no, you can't repair this.
Frustrating, but it is what it is.
I think 3 is probably the most I'd want to run.
Yeah,
without sacrificing too much firepower.
I think in the past what I did was I went down to 1, I think I quite like the way that the Lupercal worked in this with the Ursus Claws and the Lupercal. So I used to run them in the Canis Maniple rather than the Lupercal. But having the two in the Lupercal definitely gave me a bit of opportunity to squadron when I needed to. And I think that would be what I'd do. I don't think I'd take all three again.
So you drop down to 2.
I would probably drop down to 2, put a plasma blast gun in the place of one of them, so I've got another tournament pattern one now that can actually kick out a bit more damage.
Sure.
But yeah. So that just leaves the personal traits. I suppose we should talk about the Maniple as well, as it's specialised to Audax. But the first trait, Master of Ambush. The Princeps is adept at stalking their prey, utilising a battlefield's terrain to strike at their foes and avoid retaliation. The Stalk Unseen trait applies to the Princeps Titans for both the first and second rounds instead of just the first. Pretty good. All right.
Yeah.
As long as you're making the most of it.
Got to be in cover. Not too close. I like it.
Yeah. I don't think, again, I made the most of it in the game. But
I mean, I didn't really target that particular Princeps at all until the later turns.
I think
probably because of that rule.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Oh, well, it was the shocking -3, wasn't it, that you could potentially get with the immaterial shield. But it's fine. I picked all personal traits from the Audax, hoping to actually kind of show them off. But the reality of it is that I just forgot about them every time that it kind of came up. That one is okay. Like I say, you just got to lean into it, got to make the most of it. The second one, Colder Week, is actually pretty good. I think forgot about it 2 or 3 times when I had the opportunity to use it. And that's aware that a wounded foe is still a dangerous one. The Princeps seeks out Titans that are wounded to put them down before they pose a threat. Princeps Titan can reroll failed armor rolls against a location that has suffered critical damage. Really good for those finishing shots.
Yeah.
When you remember to actually use them.
So you want at least a Vulcan as one of the weapons.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be taking that, I don't think, on like a...
Plasma blast gun.
Yeah.
You want a weapon that can aim.
I wonder if this would actually work with an Ursus Claw.
It has to take critical damage.
If a legs are taking critical damage already,
okay,
and you rolled a 1, which would cause damage to yourself.
Does it specifically say damage?
Well, it says reroll failed armor rolls.
Okay.
It's whether or not, I guess, it counts as an armor roll or not. Let's have a quick flick to the back.
Because you don't get other bonuses like if the legs are already damaged.
Yeah. I think the thing is that you could argue that this probably isn't an armor roll.
No.
Because you're rolling against the scale, you're not rolling against armor, are you? So no. Let's say no to that. But if you think I'm wrong, obviously just please let us know. It'd be interested to hear what people think. I've not really considered that before, but based on the rules, it's probably...
I could see using the claw to damage the legs, and then if they're damaged enough, then the Vulcan Mega Bolter comes in, gets the bonuses.
Yeah, especially if you're fishing for 6s or fishing for quite high numbers, you're going to, increase that chance of getting the... What is it usually? It's probably usually a 4+ by the point that it's damaged, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the last one, Pack Alpha. The Princeps has ascended to their position by force of arms and will allow no other challenge to their authority. Friendly Legio Audax Titans within 3 inches of the Princeps Titans may re-roll rolls of 1 when making command checks. You've got to position yourself within 3 inches, and you've got to roll a 1 in 10 roll of a 1.
Not a fan.
It's a hard no from George. I think it's a hard no from me as well, really. That's just a bit...
I like the fluff.
Yeah, I started reading this down again, and I thought, oh yeah, you can re-roll command checks within 3 inches. And it's like, oh, actually, that'd be perfect for like Corrupt Titans or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you see re-roll rolls of 1s.
Which you'd fail anyway.
Yeah, if it was anything, then it may be, but like 1s is just...
I think there are better traits and strats for command checks available.
Why would you... If you were picking strats, you certainly wouldn't pick it.
Picking Princeps traits.
Princeps traits. And honestly, I think that there's probably only one worth taking in that, which would make me think if you're rolling, that I would roll on a normal table.
So if you're rolling randomly, you would say only one of those three is good?
Call of the Week, I think, has got potential.
Yeah. Over the standard ones, which most of them are pretty damn good.
Yeah, and what we didn't do in the game, of course, because I took the personal traits from here, is I didn't take any of the corrupt ones, which probably was a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
but
because some of them are very nice.
yeah, no, I don't know. I'd have to look into that with the corrupt ones, but like certainly not overly keen on the personal traits.
I think the first two, for most of the personal traits for most Legios, there's some duff ones, there's some really good ones, and there's some okay ones. I think the Audax is a average display of traits.
Yeah.
Nothing leaps out, but nothing is too offensive.
If you're playing Audax, you're playing it to have a laugh and to enjoy it. I don't think that they're an overly competitive Legio. I think they've got some fun rules. I think they make playing Warhounds fun.
Yep.
But I think that you kind of need to kind of almost like maybe look at not selecting all of some of their traits. I think you go for the reinforced plating.
Yep.
You take advantage of the Stalk Unseen.
Yep.
But then otherwise, probably don't go all in on the Ursus Claws and take some different personal traits.
Yeah, I think maybe they'd come into their own in a really big game where you're allied with another Legio.
Yeah.
So you're running like 3,500 points.
Yeah.
You've got 1,750 of Audax and 1,750 of Warlords from a different Legio.
So
I think they work really well together.
So you've got something to give a bit of punch.
Yeah, because those Warhounds are in your face with the Canis Maniple. Claws are causing trouble to legs. The enemy Titans aren't going to be able to come forward, and then the Warlords or the bigger Titans are coming up from behind.
Yeah, yeah. And it worked well for me and Ben when we went on the tabletop standards game. But again, that was because we were doing 2,000 points. Mm-hmm. We were taking 1,000 points each, and so it just meant that we knew there was going to be lots of light Titans. You know, there wasn't many heavy Titans that were coming onto the board. I think it's against the Warlords. I think that they can obviously use their manoeuvrability to outmaneuver them, but you've just got to weather the storm which comes in.
Yeah. That said, I'd love to see him taken in a competitive leaning tournament just to see how they do, because I haven't seen them. And
we need to see what the Direwolf does.
Yep.
I think if the Direwolf is as good as I hope it is, depending on what they, how we can take them, it could change this quite considerably. I think we'll find all new different options open to Audax players to make them just a bit more punchy and maybe close out some of the gaps that they currently might have. I know that the people who play Audax usually love playing Audax. I mean, I always enjoy playing Audax.
I think most people who've read Betrayer have considered Audax for a long time. I did, and then Alex painted his, and I moved on. Decided I couldn't quite match that red.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, they're a very fun scheme to do. And there's loads of different ways that you can do it. I went for a bit of a gloss finish on mine, but yeah, they're certainly quite a nice looking Legio when you get them out on the table. So I think the only other thing that we need to round out when talking about Audax really is the Canis light maniple. So the Canis is a maniple which is only available to Legio Audax. Otherwise, they would only have access to the Lupercal, and that's it. But the Canis is 3 Warhound Titans with 2 mandatory Warhound Titans, and it allows for an ability called Pack Ambush. And what this allows you to do is at the beginning of the game, when setting up your Titans, instead of putting Titans down who are part of the Canis maniple, you can put down little markers. And these markers have to be basically anywhere on the battlefield more than 6 inches from the enemy deployment, and Titans, and they count as being essentially deployed for purposes of putting that down. If you took like 2 Canis maniples, you would get 1 for every Titan, and then 1 extra one for the second maniple.
So maximum 6.
I think that's how it would work out.
If you had a full Canis.
If you had a full Canis. I'll read I'll read through it and then we'll know for sure actually. But rather than me saying it definitely does, and then me read it out and go actually no, it doesn't. What is it? Yes. Titans within this maniple do not deploy as normal. Instead, start the deployment after arranging Titans into squadrons. The controlling player places a number of markers equal to the number of Titans in this maniple. Yes, we got it right. These markers can be placed anywhere on the battlefield more than 6 inches from the enemy deployment zone. Titans from this maniple count as deployed for the purposes of determining which player finished deploying first. When both players have finished deploying as normal, Titans from this maniple can be deployed anywhere within 3 inches of a pack ambush marker. Any Titan deployed in this manner outside of the controlling player's deployment zone must be at least 50% obscured from the enemy Titan, from any enemy unit within line of sight of that Titan. If a Titan cannot be placed within 3 inches of a pack ambush marker in this way, they're put into their normal deployment zone. And then yes, if a player has more than one Canis maniple beyond the first, each maniple beyond the first only gives one extra marker.
Yep.
It allows you, if you can set it up right, to get some really nice forward deployments. But you've got to be a little bit careful. I think it can be a bit of a trap. It's the GoPro making weird noises. Yes, it can make it can be a bit of a trap really, because you can overextend yourself a little bit, or I think maybe I shouldn't have done that against you being a Ferox maniple, but I wanted to demonstrate the rules a little bit. It's
you're too far forward and I'm going to get you in combat or surround you, or you're at the back and I can shoot you.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one.
Yeah. It's very tricky. It's a good, fun maniple to use against certain forces. It's brilliant. The one thing which I like using it for as well is certainly with some of the open engine war mission deployments, you can set up these markers. You can make people think, oh my god, he's going to go there, and put all of his Titans in a position to try and stop you from getting that 50% and deploying your Titans there. And actually, you're either just not going to use them at all, or like you go on you can react because you don't put your Titans down until after all your opponent's forces on the table. So it's quite nice in that respect because you can kind of
got to force me to spread out.
Yeah,
I can't do a fused flank because then you can react to that.
Exactly. I can just be on one side, and as long as I've got that 50%, I can easily kind of make the most of it.
Getting the cover is difficult if you want to put a lot of Titans in the same blip.
Yeah.
But I do like it for open war, especially if it's the objectives mission where you pick up the objectives because you're already on them.
Oh gosh, yeah. The one which is the one where you've got to deploy. You've got to destroy objectives in your opponent's
enemy deployment zone. You're already halfway across the board.
Yeah.
With certain movement bonuses and strats, you can be in there.
Yeah. And the objectives will be down on the table before you deploy as well.
And the one way you pick them up, I mean, you can pretty much set up on top of the objectives and then full stride off out of line of sight somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we need to think about that next time. Next time we show off Audax.
Maybe. Yeah, we definitely need a rematch, I think, because it was a bit of a trouncing.
They got some tricks that we need to explore with more games.
Think so. There's probably going to be Audax people watching that battle report just pulling at their hair going, oh my god, why didn't you do this?
If that distracts
you forgot that.
If that distracts from the Gryphonicus players yelling at me, that's fine.
Yeah, maybe for the next battle report that we do for the first time ever, we choose the 2 Legios which we know 100% the best.
Sure.
But annoyingly, we did the Legio Furians deep dive last time, which is your Legio, and we did the Gryphonicus Legio deep dive a couple of months. Well, I think it was the first one that we did. It was in the summer last year. So
I should have listened to it.
Yeah, you probably should have taken some notes. But yeah, it was nice to kind of get something different on the table. It was nice to see my Titans I sold to you, George, on the table, and I keep looking at them thinking, like, why did I sell them? Like, I still
get your new ones next to these, and I'll start feeling cheated. You can swap if you want.
No, I think I'm.
No, I've got to use my investment.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, well that's it as far as the Legio Audax deep dive is concerned. We're just going to take a little bit of a break now, and then when we're going to come back, we're going to have a quick chat about Beachhead and some of the letters, some of the lessons learnt, and running a tournament. So until then, well, bear with us a few minutes, and we'll probably put up some nice pictures of, I don't know, Johnny Core seems to be posting videos of him walking around his house on Battle Bling at the moment. So
we're going to record some of those?
We could, maybe we could do something like that, I don't know. But like, we'll put up a little note from our sponsors.
Princeps, Johnny Core from the Battle Bling store here for you. And there's a small chance we've not met, in which
Welcome back, guys. So, me and George last week had quite an eventful time. We ran our third tournament. I say we. You got to play, and I got to sit around being a bundle of stress all weekend.
Yeah, my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn to relax.
I always play, but definitely more relaxed for me this time.
Yeah, this was the first tournament that I've personally ever run. I participated in the last one, but you did the first one basically, didn't you? Ben did the second one.
Yeah,
and
me doing the maths. Yeah.
For some reason, I chose to do like
taking turns.
The South Coast's biggest tournament of the year so far.
Yeah. Lots to chew on.
And not only that, I chose to do Red v Blue, which again I don't even know why. Like, it was
something different.
It was something different, and it was good fun. And I think everyone enjoyed it. But it does, when you do a Red v Blue event, there is certain things to worry about, and that is that you don't have a ton of players from one side drop out. And unfortunately for us, we had 4 dropouts on the day, and 3 of them were loyalists. So we needed to do a little bit of cheeky restructuring, and we pulled George, who was playing his Furians. No corruptions or anything like that. You did a flip to be loyalist Furians, and friend of the show, Stu, he was playing Krytos, and again, no corruptions or anything. He flipped to be loyalist as well. So it mean a little bit of a change for the two of you, because you had to take the loyalist stratagems.
Yeah, and allegiance ability.
Yeah. So some of the things which you probably relied on in the past.
Certainly interesting.
Yeah.
To see the combos. I think by game 3, I'd got the hang of it.
Yeah.
But
it was a Red v Blue event. It was over 2 days. It was part of the Beachhead 2022 convention. There was a massive 40k tournament going on. There was a big old Age of Sigmar. There was Bolt Action. There was obviously Titanicus, Kings of War. Did you see anything else?
I saw Star Wars Legion.
Yeah,
just a one-dayer.
I think there was Malifaux as
well.
Heard
about Malifaux. 40k scale Titanicus. Yes,
so the guys from the Titan Owners Club were there playing 40k scale AT.
Is there more than ever this year? I couldn't tell.
There was just loads. There was just loads. And we got to meet, again, friend of the show, Lee Marshall. That was really nice. We did like a little bit of we arranged kind of last minute to just bundle as many War Master Titans in our cars as possible, and did a kind of War Master parade, which was really cool. I think we had something like 15 or so. There was quite a few. I think
more than I thought.
Half of them I think were Lee's, probably. But yeah, that was really cool to see so many big Titans. So we stood back from it. Unfortunately, the lighting was terrible, so the photos were not great when we were taking them because of the way the lights were positioned. But we're looking back at it, and it was like, this is probably like nearly £2,000 or £3,000 worth of of War Masters on the table. It's like nobody break a table.
No.
But that was really good. But yeah, we played. It was a 2-day event. We did 3 games on the first day, and we did 2 on the next. The first day was quite hectic, quite involved. Sunday was a bit more relaxed. Got to spread it out a little bit. And yeah, essentially we just tiered everybody off, red v blue, and then the top ranking players from each side would kind of play the next ones, and we tried where possible to let people play people who they hadn't played before. Because of the way that the red v blue worked, like often the top tiered loyalist was still the same as the top tiered traitor, so we just shuffle around the top 2 tables to make sure that people kind of like had a variation in who they were playing. But I think it's safe to say, like, it was some really good feedback from everybody. We had 26 players in total. And I said in some of the posts on social media, like the quality of the paint jobs. Like every time I go and play Titanicus, there's always lovely Titans on display. But you know, at Reactor Meltdown and Reactor Meltdown 2, again there were some fantastic Titans.
Yep.
And it was almost like everybody had upped their game again.
Yeah, I hadn't, so. But no, that some of those legions that I hadn't seen before, just outstanding. I mean, I'd seen them online, but I don't know, it's just so much better in the flesh.
Yeah, it was definitely nice to see. There was quite a lot of people who I follow on Instagram, who, you know, I keep a close eye on their work. And there's one thing seeing that on a mobile phone and then seeing them actually in the flesh, so you get a whole new appreciation of how good some of those were. For me, Grant Dearness, he brought his Krytos to the event. I want to say that he smashed that Krytos out in like 1 or 2 weeks.
They were stunning.
Yeah, absolutely stunning.
They were the one that comes to mind when I say, like, the photos look great, but in the flesh is even better.
Yeah, and you know, we have to say congratulations to Peter Martin for winning his 7th best painted trophy at an event with his gorgeous Ataris. I think he won 1 at the first.
He did. Won the first Reactor Meltdown.
Reactor Meltdown.
Yeah.
He'd come back for the second, and he's been like to all of the.
It's not happening again, Peter.
No, it's time to retire that maniple, Pete. Like, come on, let's see something new for the next one, and let's start chalking up those tallies again.
I think he does add something each time. He takes a slightly different force.
Well,
I don't know.
You know, I don't want to say anything. Like, I don't want to cast aspersions or anything. But you know how there was that whole thing where mine won the best painted.
Really, I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
No?
It's a big secret. But you know, obviously, I turned up with my display board. I was going to be one of those guys. Well, I did see that Peter soon arrived with the display board. I know what you're playing at, Peter, if you're listening. But yeah,
paying attention.
But again, like, you know, when he brought a display board, it was even so much better than mine.
Very
so
nice.
Like everything he does and turns his hand to, it just looks stunning. So I'm really looking forward to seeing something else. It'd be nice to see what you could do with some traitor legios, Peter, if you're thinking about that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was, I think safe to say, it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. I don't know how you thought.
No. I mean, the people that did well, I thought would do well, but then because it's loyalist and traitor, the final tally looked a bit different to what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, my kind of prediction going into the event was it was going to be a traitor win, overall traitor win.
Yeah, I thought so.
And I was kind of thinking, well, you know, traitors generally, in all of the other ones we've run, they've always done well. They've always been top of the table, but also they've now got the corruptions. You know, how are people going to handle the corruptions? Because it was still fairly new.
Quite a few of them out there as well. Lots of mutated titans.
Yeah, there was some really gribbly titans.
Some very expensive titans.
There was some lovely stuff. Some people just took 1 or 2. Some people leaned heavily into the corruptions. And yeah, it was. I was convinced that it was going to be a top of the table traitor win. But the opposite was the case, and the loyalists actually overall came out performing the best.
Yes,
which was a big surprise. What was even more of a surprise was that Krytos won again, but obviously loyalist Krytos this time. So
It's not Ben either, so...
It's not Ben. At least Ben didn't win it. And nobody from Maximal Fire won anything at their own tournament again. So I think we can now put that controversy behind us. Put that to bed till next time, yeah. Big congratulations to Stuart Oliver for winning the event. But
5 for 5.
Yeah, he pulled a blinder. He'd only finished painting the Legio the week before. He'd never played a game with them.
Play it wet, yep.
Yeah, and then he came and, like you say, he took a course there, 5 for 5. Just played it really, really well. Incredible. It was really, really impressive to watch. But we had first place, second place, third place awards for both loyalists and traitors. So the first 6 positions went to loyalists, with the traitors coming in 7, 8, 9th. So kind of
on points scored.
On points scored overall, yeah. But our friend of the show, Daniel Martin Corbin, came second again. Forever the bridesmaid, never the brides. Dan, my money was on you, mate. Didn't quite manage to pull it off. Sad times.
I think he's going to drop the Side Titan next time. So
I think he said that he's kind of done with that now.
Yeah,
I think
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I honestly thought he was going to win it this year.
Yeah,
because no Ben. Because he's lost to Ben every single time.
But Ben and Dan have never played in a tournament either.
No, that's true. Yeah.
One day.
But yeah, it was really nice. And then Johnny Core from Battle Bling scooped up third place with a lovely Gryphonicus Legio.
Yeah, they're pretty
Absolutely stunning Gryphonicus Legio. Whoever painted that must have won a Best Painted award at some point.
Won some kind of award.
It definitely won some kind of award. So they were the top 3 loyalists. And then Alex Flather came first with his Infernus.
Yeah. Unexpected Legio as well.
Yeah,
I played him.
when I saw the list submitted, Ignis Light Maniple as well, and I was really kind of questioning. I was like, I was interested, but I didn't think that they would do well. Not well. I didn't think they'd do as well as they did because I've never really personally rated the Inferno guns.
No, it's the lack of targeting. They don't go through shields.
I think that the extra range that that Legio Infernus get with it is a big deal.
Yeah, and the extra hits with I can't remember if it's the Maniple or the Legio or the strats.
Yeah, but he played
every combo you could get was present and used properly.
Yeah, he played really well.
I played him in game 2.
Yeah,
fantastic game, so much fun, really fun opponent. Just handshakes after each engine kill. Fluff narrative talking about how each Titan would have died and stuff, but it was really cool. He rushed me with squadroned Warhounds, a big warlord covered in mutations, and then knights with the flamers, the Acherons, and it was the breakthrough mission, so I was kind of trapped.
Yeah, instantly kind of on the back foot.
Yeah, and by the end I think he only had 1 or 2 knights and a very damaged Warhound, but got the max points.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he played a really good game. It was really nice to see them. It's nice to see something a bit different as well. Yeah. It wasn't just all tournament pattern.
No.
The Vulcan Mega Bolter Plasma Blast guns, which was good.
And he used squadrons in a really effective way. 2 pairs of Warhounds, maybe even bigger squadrons in different games. But getting all the bonuses possible to add into the flamers. Get those coordinated strikes, take the initiative by moving large sections of the board at once of his army.
Absolutely. Yeah, well done, Alex. And then second place was Zach Bear from Goonhammer. If you ever read any of the Goonhammer articles, Zach is one of the... Alex is as well, but one of the main contributors to the Warlord Wednesdays.
He published his review of Beachhead recently.
Yeah, which is nice to see, kind of some nice positive things being said. He took Volcanum. He took a 2 activation list. With
Crazy.
4 models. He did really well. I always knew it was going to be interesting to see, but it was good to see that.
I didn't see those games because I was playing and I didn't play Zach. But
right. Yeah, no, it was really, really interesting to see. And then third place was Nathan Jones, who, with his Legio Phasma, which was using the Damasceum rules.
Yeah, I played them in game 5. Very good player, knows what he's doing. interesting Legio. They've got some like subtle rules. Nothing leaps out of the book like, oh, these are amazing. But it's like when it stacks together, plus some corruption, plus the mana pool rules, plus he had a really nice list with lots of Titans. I think a Warlord, a Reaver, and 4 Warhounds. So packing it in.
The interesting thing about Nathan's list was he was the only person to take a double mana pool.
Yes.
Which was really surprised me. Like we've seen so many double mana pools in the past, and they just weren't there.
I think last Reactor Meltdown 1650, so it was smaller points value. So we had lots of double small mana pools, lots of Corsair plus Ferox and Lupercal plus blah blah blah. But yeah, the Mandatum and the Ferox is a tasty combo. Yeah, because you've got those Warhounds hitting on 2s and there's a big distraction Warlord in the middle with combat weapons and mutations. And he had the immaterial shield, which I'd never faced before. -1 to hit when the shields are up on a Warlord is really
disgusting.
It's
that's not nice. Any highlights for you over the weekend?
So yeah, I mean, I finished 6th, top Furians player.
Whoop whoop, even though you were a loyalist.
Yep. So it didn't matter if I lost because that's loyalists losing, but if I won, it's Furians winning, so that's fine. My first game against Will Robinson.
Yes, yeah.
He had the Extergimus, which is really fun. No, but he used some knight support as well, so he had Armigers, and I'd never faced Armigers before, the little tiny Forge World models, and they were incredibly annoying. Yeah. Because they're too small to pay any attention to, but really once they're in the flank with their little melters, their little thermal lancers, they took out more Titans than I think the rest of us. Wow. No, I mean, they did a lot of damage, but it came down to the central objective, and it was just like, he was just out, so I got the points, and that was a win. Nice. And then I had 2 losses against Alex and Nathan, where I got tabled. Oh. And I had 2 wins where I tabled my opponents.
Oh, no. So well, unless you redeemed yourself.
It was a weekend of extremes. I played Johnny Eves and his Volper, beautifully converted, multiple armed, everything's corrupted, everything's going nuts.
Making the most of some of those Battle Bling multi-arm sockets, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd not seen them used in the flesh before. Yeah, proper Pacific Rim, Crimson Dynamo vibes. But that was, the Volper, they ran into me and I just held back and offensive surged, so it didn't go Johnny's way, that one. And then I also played Matt Derbyshire, Furians player, played him before, always fun, Furians on Furians. I wouldn't have predicted it, but got him in the end. It was like, to the end of turn 3, even the end of turn 4, it looked really even, and then it just fell apart. For him and went well for me.
Sometimes that's just, that's what we saw in our game as well, wasn't it? Like it was all right in turn 2 and then all of a sudden there was like a collapse. Yeah. And sometimes, unfortunately, the way dice games go.
You get a Reactor Meltdown in the wrong place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big trouble. Yeah. It's, no, really great games. As I say, Alex and Nathan know what they're doing to the point where in turn 1 I knew I'd lost against Nathan. It's just like I was looking at my deployment and I was just like, I'm done.
I've made mistakes.
I can't recover from this, and it's not even the end of movement phase.
Okay. I think kind of looking back again, I think we're going to go for maybe a more traditional format with a tournament next time. So obviously Beachhead was a great success. I think there's going to be another one hopefully in the summer. Still waiting for some dates at the moment, just to confirm whether or not we're going to get when we're going to get the tickets out.
So the summer is not a convention per se; it's more like a big tournament.
It's just a big tournament.
40k.
There's 40k, Age of Sigmar, and I think there's going to be Titanicus. I'm not sure if there's going to be anything else. But we're going to kind of do this as the South Coast GT, so to speak, and we'll just do a traditional tournament format. We'll try and get a few more people, a few more tickets this time. And see if we can maybe hit 30 people. But keep your eyes and ears out for that. If you do want any more details about what went down in Beachhead, or if you want the lowdown on our events pack or anything like that, do feel free to reach out. It was a really fun weekend, and I must admit, like as I said, it was my first ever tournament I'd ever run, and my players made it an absolute joy to ref. I had very few problems running the weekends. I had loads of help from across the community. It's one of the reasons I still think that this game has got one of the best communities in the world. We had 2 whole tables worth of terrain, which was brought down all the way from Tynesides, from Andy, which belonged to Andy Devlin and Stuart Oliver. I thank you so much, guys, for not only bringing it all the way down, because obviously the drive from the Tynesides that Oliver and his fiancée Sarah made all the way down to Bournemouth was incredible, but they were actually in there setting up tables for us the day before we were even in there.
Did more work than us.
Yeah, they probably did, yeah, and they were there right at the beginning, they were there right at the end helping us tidy up and clear things down, and I can't, everybody who helped, Oliver Spry, who was there all weekend supporting me, he was originally going to be like a floating player who was going to play if needed. But he stepped out, he helped me do all the scoring. Matt Bramley as well for donating the table, and also helping me on the Saturday. Dr. Alex, again, another great piece of great table that he donated. Am I missing anybody? Obviously ourselves.
Yeah. Matt supplied a mat.
Matt supplied some of the crate board, like the
of course, but
boards.
Extra stuff as well.
Yeah,
for
it
the
was.
other tables.
If I have forgotten you, I really apologise, but I sort of blanket
Tournament gave
says,
us a few mats.
yeah, obviously the guys at Tournament were great as well.
Big panic when we realised we had loads of terrain but not enough mats.
Yeah, like that was like a last minute panic. But I think we were fine. Like loads of people, like Johnny Eves, Oliver Spry turned up with battle mats just in case, and we ended up having more.
By the end.
So yeah, it was great. And just thank you so much to everybody who helped to make it such a great weekend. But yeah, if you want to hear more, just please join our Discord. That's where most of the conversation goes down. It's where a lot of the rules packs are shared and things like that. And also do consider to be a patron. Like hopefully if you're watching on video, you can see the sort of things that we're using the patron money towards. It's helping us continue to develop the show, take us in directions that we didn't think was possible before. And thank you so much to everybody who has helped in whatever way they can, either through Patreon or just through helping develop the Discord community. I should have probably said this at the end of last year when we were summing up the year, but we are super grateful and we have such an amazing community behind us. We can't thank you guys enough. On a bit of a mushy ending, I guess, there's not really much else for me to say other than thank you for listening, or thank you for watching if you're watching us on YouTube. We hope to have the streamed format come into play soon. I think we just need to make sure that we've definitely got all of the tech that we need. We realised actually when we were recording on the night, so it's a good job we cancelled the stream, that one of our cameras was just not playing ball. So teething issues which will be ironed out, but I hope that you've enjoyed the extra content that we've been able to bring to you. And until next time, guys, always remember to go big, go loud, and go maximal.